Hey there, fellow traveler. Welcome back to Travel Vibes. Or if you're new here, I'm so glad you found us. If you've ever stood in a crowded security line at 6:30 in the morning, clutching a boarding pass in one hand and a half-cold coffee in the other, wondering how some people glide through the airport while you feel like a hot mess, you're not alone. Whether you're a digital nomad, a weekend explorer, a first-time flyer, or just someone trying to avoid checking a bag at all costs, this video is for you. Because today, I'm sharing the real carry-on travel hacks that actually work after more than 100 flights. And trust me, these aren't the generic tips you see recycled online. These are tried, tested, and totally practical. So if you're ready to travel lighter, faster, and way smarter, hit that subscribe button and let's take off together. Hack number 1, build your travel system like a pro, not a packer in panic mode. Alright, now that we're on the same page, it's time to ditch the chaos and build a system. Because flying carry-on isn't just about packing less, it's about packing smarter. If you've ever tried to shove your roller bag into an overhead bin with a line of impatient passengers breathing down your neck, you know what I mean. I used to be that traveler, the one packing just-in-case outfits, 4 chargers I didn't need, and a hardcover book I never touched. But over time, and after more than 100 flights across the US and abroad, I've honed a setup that works in real-world airports, not just in cute Instagram reels. Here's the system I swear by. 1 sleek roller carry-on, 1 stackable personal item, and 1 small crossbody. That's it. 3 bags, each with a job to do. The roller holds my clothes and bulkier items. The personal item, usually a soft-sided tote or slim backpack, slides neatly under the seat and carries my laptop, chargers, snacks, and a quart-sized liquids bag. And the crossbody? It stays with me at all times. Wallet, phone, passport. No digging around, no stress. If you're like most US-based travelers, maybe you're juggling a short business trip, a cross-country visit to family, or even just trying to make the most of a budget airline's strict baggage rules, this system gives you agility, organization, and peace of mind. And believe me, when you've got the right setup, everything from TSA to takeoff feels way easier. Ready for the next hack? Let's keep going. Hack number 2. Win the flight before you even leave the house. Now let's talk about something that might sound boring, but makes a huge difference: what you do before you even get to the airport. Because if you're anything like most US travelers, juggling tight schedules, juggling family, work, and maybe squeezing in that long-overdue getaway, you don't have time for surprises at check-in. So here's the move. Check in online as early as possible. It's not just a convenience, it's a strategic advantage. If your carry-on is borderline in size, online check-in lets you breeze past the counter and head straight to security, avoiding the dreaded baggage sizer drama altogether. But, and this is important, budget airlines love to play games. Some of them force you to check in at the desk just so they can measure your bag and slap on a fee. Don't let them catch you off guard. I've been there. That's why I started tracking carry-on allowances for every airline I fly. Yes, I literally keep a spreadsheet. It might sound over the top, but when you're standing at the gate and your bag just fits without getting flagged, you'll be glad you did your homework. Whether you're flying coast to coast or just hopping a quick domestic leg, a few minutes of prep at home can save you time, stress, and money later. Let's move on to the next trick, and trust me, it's one you'll want to use every single time you head to TSA. Hack number 3. Outsmart TSA lines without losing your cool or your stuff. Alright, you've made it to the airport, you've checked in online, you've got your 3 bags set up, and now it's time to face the beast, TSA security. This is where most travelers in the US start to unravel, especially if you're rushing, juggling multiple bags, or haven't flown in a while. But here's the good news. With a little strategy, you can get through security smoother than you think. Here's what I always do, and it works like a charm. I send my roller bag down the belt first. Right behind it goes my personal item, usually with my laptop and liquids packed where I can grab them fast. Then last on the belt, my crossbody bag and my shoes. Why? Because your shoes are the one thing you physically can't forget. When they come out last, it forces you to wait for the rest of your stuff and make sure nothing gets left behind. It's a tiny trick, but trust me, it works. Now, if you don't have TSA pre-check, Don't sweat it. Just be smart about where you pack your liquids. I always stash my quart-sized clear pouch in my personal item, not my roller. It's easier to reach and faster to pull out when the bins start flying. Oh, and one more thing. Invest in a good reusable, transparent liquids bag. Airport bins? Not exactly sanitary. You don't want your face wash rolling around where someone else's flip-flops have been. Stay organized, stay clean, and you'll breeze through like a pro. Ready for the next hack? Let's keep moving. Hack number 4. How to blend in and board without bag drama. Here's a secret seasoned flyers know: looking low-key can be your greatest superpower. If you want to fly carry-on without the headache of getting stopped at the gate, the trick isn't to sneak anything past anyone, it's to not draw attention in the first place. Imagine the scene. The boarding area is crowded and gate agents are scanning the crowd. Overhead bin space is running low and someone's bag needs to be gate checked. Who do they zero in on? The traveler balancing a bulky neck pillow, a paper takeout bag, and an oversized denim jacket hanging off one shoulder? Or the person standing calmly with a clean black roller and nothing extra dangling or stuffed into shopping bags? Exactly. If you're flying out of a major U.S. hub, think JFK, LAX, Atlanta, or Chicago, gate agents have seen it all. They've learned to spot potential problems from a mile away. But here's the good news. If you look composed, efficient, and tidy, they'll likely skip right over you. Choose a dark, non-flashy carry-on. Keep your layers tight. Ditch the oversized souvenir bags and that giant neck pillow clipped to your handle. And if you're using a backpack as your personal item, even better. Backpacks almost never get questioned. It's like an invisibility cloak for savvy travelers. Gate agents are just people doing their job, and if you show up looking like you know what you're doing, calm, polite, organized, you're far more likely to walk right on without a second glance. Let's move on to the next hack, because where you sit can be just as important as what you pack. Hack number 5. Outsmart the boarding rush by playing the seat game. Let's face it, the boarding process can feel like controlled chaos, especially for U.S. travelers trying to manage carry-ons, overhead space, and that awkward shuffle down the aisle. But here's a move that's helped me outsmart the crowd more times than I can count. And it's surprisingly simple. If you have a travel credit card that offers priority boarding, use it. But here's the twist. Instead of picking a seat near the front, choose one toward the back of the plane. Why? Because most early boarding passengers head straight to the front rows, meaning the bins above the rear seats often stay empty longer. This strategy gives you extra time and space to stow your bag without the pressure of people piling up behind you. It's perfect if you're the kind of traveler who gets anxious during boarding. Maybe you're flying solo, maybe you're managing kids, or maybe you just want to avoid feeling rushed. And for those of us flying out of busy domestic airports like Dallas, Denver, or Miami, where boarding can feel like a full-contact sport, this simple adjustment can make your entire flight more relaxed. The key here isn't about where you sit, it's about when and how you get settled. And when you board early, but head to the back, you buy yourself a few calm minutes to organize your space and catch your breath before takeoff. Now that we've covered that, let's move on to a trick even frequent flyers forget. Choosing your bag based on the plane you're flying. Hack number 6. Choose the right plane, not just the right flight. Here's something most travelers overlook, but once you learn it, you won't book the same way again. Not all airplanes are created equal, especially when it comes to overhead bin space. And if you're flying carry-on only, that detail can make or break your boarding experience. For years, I didn't give a second thought to the aircraft type. I just booked whatever fit my schedule or price range. But after too many cramped flights and nowhere to put my bag moments, I started checking the aircraft model before I booked. For example, a Boeing 737 MAX often has much deeper bins than a 737-700. That means more space to stand bags up vertically, and less chance of being forced to gate check yours. If you're someone traveling often across states, maybe for work, visiting family, or squeezing in a weekend trip, sites like Flight Radar 24 or Seat Guru can show you what plane you're flying. It takes 30 seconds, and it can seriously change your packing game. Now here's a small but powerful detail. If you can choose your seat, go for the left side of the plane. The right side often stores emergency gear, which cuts into bin space. Oh, and seats in emergency exit rows usually board early, so if you're able to sit there, you get first dibs on those coveted overhead compartments. Sure, planes can get swapped at the last minute. That's just part of flying. But knowing what you're working with in advance gives you a major edge. And next up, we're diving into something every traveler debates: hard shell or soft-sided carry-on. Let's break it down. Hack number 7, pick the right carry-on. It's not just about looks. Let's settle one of the most common carry-on questions once and for all: hard shell or soft shell? Because if you've ever flown out of a tight domestic gate in the US, especially on a budget airline like Frontier or Spirit, you know space is not guaranteed, and the bag you bring can make all the difference. Now, hard shell bags look great. They're sleek, water-resistant, and perfect for structured packers who like everything in its place. But here's the truth: they're not very forgiving. Once they're full, that's it. No wiggle room. No squeezing. If your hard case doesn't fit in the overhead bin, you're likely stuck checking it, even if it's just 1 inch too big. Soft-sided bags, though? That's a different story. These bags are your secret weapon when space gets tight. They flex, compress, and can slide into bins that a hard case wouldn't dare approach. I can't tell you how many times I've given mine a gentle push, sometimes a firm nudge, and made it fit just fine. If you're a traveler who likes to pack a little extra just in case, or you're flying a regional jet where overheads are shallow, go with soft-sided. And if you're often hopping quick domestic flights, heading to college towns, or visiting family across multiple states, this kind of flexibility gives you peace of mind when every inch counts. Next up, let's talk about what to do when the bin above your seat is already packed with other people's stuff. Don't worry, there's a way to handle it like a pro. Hack number 8. Protect your overhead bin space without starting a war. So here's the moment of truth. You've made it down the aisle, weaving past elbows and backpacks, and you finally reach your row, only to find the overhead bin is packed to the brim. A crumpled grocery bag, a winter jacket, and someone's tiny backpack are taking up all the space your carry-on needs. Sound familiar? If you're like many US travelers, maybe you're flying for a wedding, a business trip, or just trying to get home for the holidays, this situation can feel frustrating. But here's how to handle it like a pro without raising your blood pressure or starting a confrontation. First, don't panic. Don't roll your eyes. Just take a breath and ask kindly. A simple, "Would you mind sliding your smaller item under the seat so I can get my roller up there?" usually does the trick. Most people don't even realize their backpack is blocking space meant for full-size carry-ons. And if no one budges, that's where your secret weapon comes in: the flight attendant. They deal with this exact scenario multiple times a day, and they're trained to fix it fast. I've literally seen them move a fruit bag, a purse, and a teddy bear just to make room for my suitcase. The key? Stay calm. Stay respectful. Kindness plus clarity almost always wins in tight spaces, especially when everyone just wants to settle in and take off. Up next, I'll share a clever little hack to help reclaim your legroom once you're in the air. Stick around, it's one of my personal favorites. Hack number 9. How to reclaim your legroom mid-flight without breaking the rules. Let's talk about one of the most annoying trade-offs in carry-on travel: sacrificing your precious legroom for that personal item bag. If you've flown in the US recently, especially on domestic routes with tighter seat pitches, you know the struggle. You've packed smart, everything fits. But now your legs are cramped because your tote or backpack is wedged under the seat in front of you. I used to just suffer through it, until I discovered a simple, in-flight trick that changed everything. The moment that seatbelt sign goes off after takeoff, I reach down, gently pull my personal item back, and slide it behind my legs, tucked under my own seat. It gives me instant breathing room and makes a big difference, especially on flights longer than an hour. This isn't about breaking any rules. During taxi, takeoff, and landing, keep your bag exactly where it's supposed to be. But once you're cruising at 35,000 feet and the cabin lights dim, you've got a little more freedom to shift things around. And if this trick works for my husband, who's 6'9" and barely fits in an emergency exit row, it can definitely work for you. Whether you're tall, petite, or just someone who values comfort, this one move can make your flight feel way more manageable. Coming up next, let's tackle something a lot of travelers worry about but don't want to admit: getting that carry-on bag into the overhead bin. Yes, there's a smart way to handle it, even if you're not exactly tall or strong. Let's break it down. Hack number 10. Don't let your size stop you. Outsmart the overhead bin. Now let's talk about something a lot of travelers won't admit out loud: that moment of dread when it's time to hoist your carry-on into the overhead bin. If you're on the shorter side, or maybe not as strong as you once were, this part can feel like an Olympic event. And if you're flying alone out of a packed US terminal like LAX or Charlotte, the pressure is real. I get it. I'm 5'1", and I've had my fair share of awkward shuffles. That moment when the roller bag doesn't quite clear the lip of the bin, and suddenly everyone's watching. But here's the thing: it doesn't have to be a struggle if you plan for it. First off, don't be shy about asking for help. Most travelers, especially frequent flyers, are more than happy to assist if you just ask early and politely. It's not a bother, it's part of the travel community vibe. Second, use what you've got. The aisle seat armrest, it makes a pretty decent mini step if you need a few extra inches of lift. And finally, pack smart. Keep your bag light enough for you to manage. This isn't the time to sneak in cast iron cookware. If you're a senior traveler, a petite woman, a teen on a solo trip, or just someone who'd rather not strain their back before vacation even starts, remember, travel isn't about muscle. It's about mindset and preparation. Coming up next, let's put all these pieces together and build a carry-on system that works for you, not against you. Hack number 11. Design a carry-on setup that matches your travel style. Here's the honest truth: mastering carry-on travel isn't about following someone else's perfect packing list. It's about building a system that actually fits your real life. And like most seasoned travelers in the US, I didn't figure this out overnight. It took flight after flight, learning from delays, security hiccups, overhead bin surprises, and, yes, a shampoo bottle explosion or two. The key is personalization. If you're a parent flying with kids, those zip pouches inside your personal item can be game changers. Snacks in one, chargers in another, maybe meds in a third. If you're a traveler who needs access to prescriptions or mobility tools during the flight, keep those in your crossbody or sling. You want them with you, not buried in the overhead. And if you're anything like me and hate digging through a tangled mess mid-flight, color-coded packing cubes are your new best friend. One for clothes, one for tech, one for in-flight comfort. Simple, clean, and stress-free. Whether you're flying across the country for a conference, visiting relatives in another state, or planning a weekend city escape, this is where travel becomes smoother. Not because you packed less, but because you packed smarter, in a way that matches how you move. Coming up next, let's bring it all home with one final perspective shift that changes the way you approach every flight from here on out. Hack number 12. Carry-on travel isn't just about bags, it's about freedom. Here's something I've learned after more than 100 flights. And it's something every traveler, whether you fly once a year or every other week, deserves to know. Carry-on travel isn't just about convenience. It's not just about skipping baggage claim or avoiding fees. It's about freedom. Freedom to move through the airport without dragging a suitcase behind you like a ball and chain. Freedom from the anxiety of lost luggage, late-night delivery windows, or standing at a crowded carousel wondering if your bag ever made it. And most importantly, the freedom to walk into the terminal with confidence, knowing that everything you need is right there with you, within arm's reach. If you're an American traveler juggling family visits, remote work trips, or that long-awaited vacation, this mindset shift is everything. When you roll your bag to the gate, passport tucked securely in your sling, and board your flight calm and unbothered, you're not just flying lighter, you're flying smarter, more intentional, more empowered. So don't think of these hacks as rules. Think of them as tools. Tools that let you focus on the journey, not the logistics. And once you travel this way, there's no going back. Let's wrap it all up with a final word that'll get you truly ready for takeoff. And there you have it. 12 carry-on travel hacks. Not just pulled from a checklist, but shaped by real experience, real flights, and real challenges. Whether you're a seasoned jet setter or just starting to explore air travel with fresh eyes, these tips are here to help you fly with more confidence, more ease, and yes, more freedom. Because travel should never feel like a hassle. It should feel like an open door. So the next time you're zipping up your bag, heading towards security, or settling into your seat by the window, remember, you've got this. You're not just someone trying to get through a flight. You're someone who knows how to travel well. If today's video helped you feel more prepared or inspired for your next adventure, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this with a friend who could use a few travel upgrades. Got a favorite carry-on tip of your own? Drop it in the comments. Let's keep building a community of smart, thoughtful travelers right here on Travel Vibes. Until next time, safe travels, smooth skies, and don't forget to look out the window. You never know what view is waiting for you up there.